right, guys. Thank y'all for coming this morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. Here's what we...
You need a mic?
All right. Here's what you're going to hopefully get today. Now, we can't possibly teach you everything today because this is normally like a 4-hour seminar that we do, and we're trying to condense it down to an hour. So be patient with us if you would, and we're going to do our best. But here's what you will.
And here's the key, baby. We got to get through the slides. So I'm gonna help you out a little bit.
Yeah, hold on. I want to set the foundation. This foundation is the most important thing. So here's what's going to happen. You will get, you know how people come into the industry, or you might be this way, or you have people in your organization, they don't know what to do.
Right.
They pick a little bit over here, and they pick a little bit over here, and before you know it, they're just as confused. So you're embarrassed because your downline or your person that you sponsor asks you, well, what do I do? And you say, well, why don't you just go online? No. And you're just as confused, and sooner or later they lose faith in you, right? And then your organization slows down. So today what you're going to get exactly what to do day one, step 2, and it works everywhere. Now we built these on principles. We didn't build them off ideas, right? So remember what we said the other day, that a principle will last forever. Does that make sense? All right, they don't change. So we built this on principles. So we're going to go ahead and start off, and we're going to talk a little bit about the approach today too. That's the main deal, is if everything starts with the approach. And if the approach is not right, nothing else works in your business, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll go from here.
So one of the things when you think about, why am I doing this? Am I really, truly involved in the process of making this happen for me? Yes. We all have our different passions and our different purposes in life. But it's really up to us to begin to redefine ourselves and to help us to understand why we are doing this. So many people don't understand the why, they just want to know how to get this done. But for me, you've got to understand why you want to get it done. Today, each of you in this room can rewrite and reset yourself. As you rewrite your script and reset it, it's entirely up to you. Don't let anyone take that away from you, ever, ever. Because after all, it is your dream. And if you allow someone to take that away from you, then you've basically given up everything that you basically stand for. So it's really up to you. Do you get that? Mm-hmm. Your purpose, your passion. Nobody can give that to you but you. You can get inspired by other folks, but that inspiration has to come from within. It has to be something you want to do and what you believe in. And if you don't feel that, then you got to spend some more time on you. And that's where a lot of us don't. We don't want to do it. So when I shared with you that quote on Thursday evening, when I said to you, Ben Franklin said there are 3 hard things in life. Do you remember those? One is steel. One is a diamond, and the third one is what? Knowing you. So this is what this is all about today. And when Raymond will go over with you as far as, the methodology. What does this look like? What does it feel like? How am I going to get this done? And they didn't bring that flip chart in here. So you may have to just kind of ask them to draw it out. Yes?
It's on the way.
It's on the way? Okay, thanks. So when you think about the methodology and what that leads to is your self-image, here's the deal. You want me to come back to this? Because this is when you're going to draw out on one side the methodology of the business and the professional network marketer. Okay, so we're going to come back to this slide. So let's talk a little bit about success. This is where you were supposed to see the business on one side and attitude on another side. So this is where I really need you to imagine your imagination so that we can stay on point. Is that okay? Okay. I'm so glad you guys are participating. Say it again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So if your business is worthy of your dreams, if it's worthy of your dreams, you would take the time to understand that success does not depend on what we do, but it does depend on what?
Who we are.
Who we are. So if we really begin to, a lot of people don't want to do this. As a professional network marketer, most people don't want to spend time on themselves. They don't want to develop the attitude. They don't want to read the books. They don't want to listen to the CDs because they always say, I got this. All I got to do is I just need somebody to just show me how to do this. I got this. Well, I'm asking you, has that gotten you anywhere where you want to be? No. So I want you to let that go. And I want you to know today that we're going to help you to really get you. So that you can really go out there and say, I got this. And that your ego is at the door. Because the ego can really deter a lot of things in life. Do we know what ego is?
Fear.
That was a great term. Les Brown really started that, and so we'll give him credit for that tomorrow. Today we're going to take credit for it. So, anybody else want to talk about ego?
It's part of the personality that we develop over time due to different paradigms that we're taught and how we absorb that, what we want to emulate and copy, and it's not necessarily the truth.
It's not necessarily the truth. It's what you want to emulate and copy because you feel that that's what success looks like and feels like because somebody else told you that.
And we want to be right. It's got to be right all the time, or else we're wrong choice, and we don't want to face wrong choices. So we say, I'm right, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm still right.
So in this business, guys, this is an all-volunteer business.
Yes.
So, I don't want to be right. But I want to help you to understand that maybe it's your right. So that old saying in this business that goes back way back when, that you be right and I'll be rich.
Ooh.
So let them be right. Let go of the ego. It doesn't matter. Many of us in this room are A personalities. I get that. I'm one. But you learn to be a chameleon, meaning that you can work with all different types of personalities. Because that's what it takes. But don't stand down when you feel that something is good, but you don't want to let your ego get in the way of it. Because we're all about helping each other to grow. So when that happens, then you begin to understand that if I let go of my ego, if I let go of the fact that I don't have to always be right, that if I let go of the fact that what Amanda's dream is, that's what I need to help build. What Annette's dream is, that's what I need to help build. What Jamie's dream is, that's what I need to help build. How many of you have sit down with people that you personally sponsor and asked them exactly what they want? How many of you have really sat down and asked them exactly what they want? Now here's the key. How many of them know what they want? They don't. They don't. They don't know yet, guys, because they don't truly understand what this business is all about. Many people get in this industry because they feel like, you know what, I do want to have my own home-based business, but I'm just going to do it part-time. And that part-time ends up being no time. Okay? But then all of a sudden they want to make a lot of money, but they don't want to put the time into it. You've got to help them in the process to be that professional. And I don't think people understand what professionalism really is. We have this definition we think we have in our head, but that may not be it. Professional in this business means that you're going to take the time to learn this business as you do your job. How many of you went through a training program? Probably a week or two, right? On your job? Ongoing. But you get in this business, you want people to tell you what to do in a matter of a couple of days, and you say, I got it, I can move on. I don't get that. This is your business. You should be spending as much time in this business or more working on you. Most of your time should be working on you. And then the rest of it is basically working on this business. Your business will grow, but you got to believe me. You've heard this before, right? Yes. But it's just a matter of us really going in to make that happen. I owe an apology to Dale. When Dale was talking to me, and she was telling me why she wanted to do this, I was driving. So I didn't have the opportunity to really write all of that down. So now I'm going to go back to Dale and say, hey, Dale, we got to start from day one. I want to sit down. I want to understand, why do you want to do this? What is it all about for your dream? What is it that's going to get you up each and every morning to do this business after you work all day? Or if you have your own business, after you have been doing your business all day. Because 9 times out of 10, if you have your business owns you.
Yes.
It owns you. If you stop working, you make what?
Nothing.
So that's what this is all about. What I want you to do today, I want you to forget everything that you've been taught.
Okay.
I want you, today, this is day 1. This is your first day of training. And it's hard. Because many of us, the 3 hardest things in life, knowing yourself, that's what we're doing today. So, we don't have to, you want to just go through it? Because we don't have the flip chart.
Yeah, I do want to say this, guys. Yolanda just hit, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yolanda just kind of tapped on this a little bit. Guys, and I have to reiterate this, that you see, everything about us as human beings starts with self-image, self-esteem. Everything. It determines the job that you take. It determines the people, your friends, your everything. Every decision you make is based on self-image. It's called the law of attraction. You attract what you are. That is the foundation of our lives. Forget about network marketing. See, because you take yourself with you no matter where you go. You heard me say that the other night, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just reiterating, guys. And a lot of people say, well, how do I do that, right? And a lot of you know my background, that I came up on welfare. I had 7 other sisters. I was the only boy, and both of my parents were alcoholics. And I was
really hard for me, ladies.
and I was supposed to be in prison by the time I was 19 years old, and I ended up working on Wall Street and all that stuff. Well, it was because I went to work on me. A lot of you maybe have a little problem with your self-esteem. I had none. No self-esteem. I didn't think I deserved anything. So, and even when I had those good moments, when a good opportunity came by, guess what I would do? Sabotage it. And that's what we do. Guys, the most important thing you can do in life is to work on your self-esteem, work on your self-image. Now, and it all starts, y'all heard Yolanda and I talk about this, with love. Now, we're going to suggest some books to you guys. You guys read whatever's good for you. But you look, changing is not easy, guys. But you got to commit to it. When it gets tough, look, it's kind of like, I don't have the deal up here. But what it is, let's just draw a circle. And in that circle represents what you think about yourself and all your experiences. And so, and your programming, right? So when you get to the edge of that programming, you don't go any further. But beyond that edge is where you grow. Does that make sense? See, in the circle is where everything is comfortable for you, right? So it's going to take you getting out of that comfort zone. I mean, really, and staying with it and committed to it and getting down. I'm serious. And that's what's holding you back. See, the business plan is the same for everybody. The products are the same for everybody. For Yolanda and I, for you, everybody. It's the same. But it's how you feel about yourself. What do you believe you deserve? And you say, well, I think I deserve that. Well, then, is it in your life? Are you attracting it in your life? If not, that means you have some growing to do. And guys, here, it's not going to, look, most of us in here have been like this 40, 50 years. And we think we're going to read one book, and all of a sudden it's going to change. Right? Snap. Doesn't work that way. It's continuous. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, we could go on and on about that. Yeah. We can go on and on. Zach, you're going to bring that up. But I'm telling you, whatever you do, the most important thing you can do in this lifetime while you're in this body is to study self-development. Does this resonate with anybody this morning?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, because if you don't,
Go ahead.
if you don't, you'll be here at the same place next year and the year, and you'll be wondering, why come my business not working? It's always us. The first thing you got to do as a human being, a successful human being, is take responsibility for yourself. Being raised in the hood, man, I blame everybody. I'm a little bit hood, and I'm a little bit educated, and all that stuff. So y'all get all of it, all right? So,
And I'll throw the country in there.
all right. So this is your life's work, guys. If your business is not working, you have to look at you. Something's about our personalities or something we need to deal with, we got to deal with. And for me, I would do anything to grow. If it takes a psychiatrist, a psychologist, whatever, I'll do it. That you got to care about yourself to do whatever it takes. All right? And be open-minded. So many of us are closed-minded, think we're going to... See, sometimes we think things are supposed to happen in a certain way. We think it's supposed to come in like a brown box, and it comes in a purple package. So be open, right? You close your mind off, man, you block your blessings off and your miracles. I know, I come from a background like that. This is not the steps that we're talking about, what I'm talking about right now. But none of this stuff works. I don't care what system you get into or how many times. Look, you can hear Tom Chanel, you can hear me, you can hear Ariaza. It does not matter. See, we all basically say the same thing, we just say them in a different way. It's not about us, it's about you. What you're able to receive and use, okay? So here's the deal. When you read these books and listen to these CDs and stuff that we suggest, guys, you're not going to get a grade on it from anybody, from us, anybody. It's to put it into your life so it will work. These are principles that will work for every human being that's breathing. See, they're not just ideas. A lot of people have ideas, but principles work for everybody all the time, every time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's talk about, and guys, I wish we could really go more into self-esteem and self-development, because that's the key. And when you leave here today, okay, how many seminars you go to, what you learn, it ain't gonna work unless you work on you. Will you take responsibility for that?
Yes.
Okay? So when you leave here, the biggest thing I want you to do is I gotta take responsibility for my life. Good, bad, or indifferent. And if you're hurting, hurt deep. Well, you do something about it, man. You know, everybody always on the fence. You know,
And that's the piece where when you want to say, I got this, that's the piece that you got. Working on you.
Yeah.
So that's when I hear somebody say, I got this, you got to be able to say that you're working on you. So.
Yeah, don't think that you know everything, not even me. I mean, I could tell you a story, but I thought I knew everything, guys. And I went to, we had a great mentor. Our mentor, the guy's name is Johnny Daniel. From the beginning of network marketing to this day, his first check was the largest check ever written in network marketing. It was $55,000. And this guy was so humble. And we're so different. This guy's like a cowboy. Had a couple of fingers missing. I ain't never been around no cowboy. But I loved his wisdom. He would say things like, I would say, Johnny, you know, we could probably, Yolanda and I sharp enough, we could probably do 2 network marketing companies at the same time. You know what he would do? You ever seen one of those, the guys can identify, one of them old dudes, man, just kind of, well, he said, you probably could. He said, but he that runs 2 rabbits at the same time normally starves to death. I mean, things like that. The guy, I just love this guy. I mean, he would come spend the night at our house, and he'd go out and, you know, old country boy, you know, he'd blow his nose. John, so you had something in your nose? No, I just felt like blowing my nose. I love the guy.
So sweetheart, can we?
Yeah.
Show
So, guys, be teachable, all right, please. Because that guy taught me a lot, and I wasn't teachable in the beginning. And I didn't do anything but hurt me. You know, we got guys in our organization now, people, You know, I don't know why they won't listen to us. They don't do things their own way. They've been at the same position for 6 years. And I've never been able, I ain't no slow drip, but I can't figure these guys out.
That they're looking at it in a different set of lenses.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all look at things in a different set of lenses, but today we're asking you to just trust us, just see it through today, see it through our eyes. And hopefully you will be able to understand why you've got to be a professional in this business and why you have to take your business into your own hands, and that business, it goes back to developing you. That's your business for today.
So guys, here's what happens when we come into the industry. You got to remember, when you come into this industry or you go into anything, how many people have worked all their lives? How many people have parents have worked all their lives? How about your aunts and uncles? All right? How many people went to school here, went to college? Okay? So what do they teach us? Get a good education, get you a good job, and you got it made. Right? Well, when you come into this industry, when you come in and you start your own business, what we are doing is bringing a worker's mentality with us over here, right? Now you own your own company over here. And all your life you've been doing this. Your parents, our parents did it, our grandparents did it. Be a good worker. Pride. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So now you own your own business. Guys, you cannot have a worker's mentality and become successful when you own your own business. Because workers, what do we do? Go to work, do what they tell us to do, get that paycheck, and we go home. Right? And I will venture to say to you that a lot of you go to work and don't even remember how you got there that morning. That's how programmed we are. Right? I'm not saying anything wrong with it. But we get in that boat and we don't look to the left and we don't look to the right. But now, here it is, you're in something else that you gotta take responsibility for on a daily basis, right? So, here's what when we travel and do this, most of the time, we ask people, and I will ask everybody, which one of these appeal to you? Would you say that the methodology or developing the attitude? Be honest, before we had these 15 minutes together, which one we normally say?
Initially, it was methodology.
Methodology. 95% of the people want to know how to. Guys, it does not matter how to. If you don't have this attitude right, you can do all the work you want to. Eventually you will sabotage or you will not attract the right people into your life or into your business. Does that make sense? Guys, this is hard. I mean, I don't even say it's hard. What it is different because we've been taught just the opposite, right? So you got to learn over time to become an employer, right? From an employee, am I writing this right? From an employer, right?
Yeah, you're just going to have to go from right to left instead of from left to right.
Yeah, I know. Employee to an employer. This is where the key is. Attitude. Spending your time, Yolanda said it. Attitude, all the time. All right? But most people want to know, how do I do this? How do I do this? Guys, it's real. What we do, a 6th grader can do. We have a 10-year-old in our organization that makes $700 a month. Nice. Anybody can do this. Right? A 10-year-old. So, what we want to do is go from here to here. And that comes from books. Okay? All right?
Yeah, so when we think about that a moment, can I borrow that?
Mm-hmm.
When we think about that a moment, and we look at it, and we understand that an employer, that's that individual, you work really hard, you get all of these awards and trophies, and you really make it happen, and your employer walks up to you, and your employer says, Cinnamon, says, you are really working so hard. I understand that you just got an award for being the most valuable employee.
Yes, I do.
You know, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So I want you to know that, that house that I just bought, that's about 10,000 square feet. It's got that big gazebo in the backyard. I'm thinking about getting one on a hill, well, really a mountain. You drive this long way on this nice private road to my home. I got a pool, a covered pool in the back. I'm gonna have people over. So I really need you to step it up a little bit. I gotta get a big bonus coming for you if you can do that for me. Can you make that happen?
Well, I'm thinking, can you get the gazebo to me so I have a place to live?
So that's what you're thinking. But your employer is basically letting you know that I really appreciate everything that you're doing to help me to build that house on that hill. And you're doing a really good job. So that's what our employer is basically saying to us. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So that employer probably has done this. He's probably read some books. He might have read, The Leading Edge for Leaders. He might have read, Blind Spot or Think Spot. He might have read, What Does It Take to Become a Successful Leader? Or Business 101 or Leadership 101. So maybe those are some of the books that he read to become that employer. Now you, as this employee, if you're looking to become that employer, what books do you think you need to read? I would think so. You want to emulate that person. So why don't we say one of the books might want to be, I got to be selfish at this moment. I just have to ask some folks that have gone through this training before, but they're in this room. And they just became vice presidential marketing directors because they get this training. So give me a book, the first book I got a Majestic Kiko in the house, and then I'll pick on you. Give me the first book that we say that you should read.
A Return to Love.
Yes. Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. This is my favorite book. Can you tell? Yes, sir.
And when we say read the books, guys, not just read them, but you study them. You want to mark it up. And many of you may be reading on Kindle. I don't care how you're reading it or listening to it, but get it. Okay, that's attitude. Now let's go over to the methodology. There's a book that we recommend that you read for the methodology on how to do the approaches. And we'll talk about the 8 steps in a second. But what is that book? Let me pick on another. Amanda.
How to sell network marketing without losing your friends, family, and something like that.
It's called How to Sell Network Marketing Without Fear, Anxiety, or Losing your friends.
You did a great job.
And the author is Michael Oliver. Guys, I'm telling you, when you read this book, it's going to blow you out of the water. If you study it and apply it. Okay?
All right. Attitude.
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver. Okay. All right. So that's the methodology. So now we're going to go back to attitude. All right. Another book that you might want to read. It's something that you might want to enjoy reading. Victoria. The Law of Divine Compensation. Oh my goodness, it just so happens to be by the same author, Marianne Williamson. Divine compensation, guys. You read that book, you'll understand what it takes to let the money come to you. To let the money come to you.
Now, guys, look. Here, we come from all of us come from all different backgrounds and wear different pairs of glasses on the way we've been taught and look at life, right? So here's the deal. When I first read this book, it talked about love versus ego with Marianne Williamson's book, right? Now, I was really kind of closed-minded to that, but I kept reading. It took me 8 years to really get to the point where, because I was what the world would call successful in life. Now you're telling me to give up my ego? I'll use my ego to get where I am. Right. But guess what? I was never at peace. I was never at peace. This gives you peace. I was always better than or less than or comparing or competing, right? And people feel your vibrations when you think that way. And I didn't want to be that way. I just didn't know any other way, right? And it was hell. Can you imagine a young man who never had nothing and then grow up to be successful, work on Wall Street and own a company, you know, top 100 company in Houston, and then it tell you, give up your ego. You out of your damn mind. Big man.
Let it go. Let it go.
Eventually, it will get to you guys. I don't care how successful you become. Because money and ego will never give you peace of mind. Never. It tricks you.
Okay, so let's talk about the methodology. So in the next 2 minutes, and then we're going to do the 8 steps. Excited?
GoPro.
GoPro.
Eric Worre. Everybody's familiar with Eric Worre.
Okay, now this is just a Yolanda-ism. I don't like to end with even numbers. The mind thinks better in odd numbers. It retains more, so I got to go to 3. This is going to throw off everybody. Everybody go, oh, I don't know that other book. I don't have a clue what it's going to be. So, you can. The Magic of Thinking Big. I don't know if anybody has read that, but that's a good one. Feeding a Giant is also a good one. Think and Grow Rich is a good one.
The Game of Life and How to Play It.
Okay.
Florence Scovel.
Florence Scovel Shin. Love that book.
We teach that.
We teach that
in
from
the
that book
Majestic
too.
Eagles. Right, guys?
Yeah.
That's powerful. That is so. But that's going to give me 4. I got to end with 3.
What's the name of that?
The Game of Life.
By Florence Scovel Sheen.
Florence Scovel Shin.
Yeah.
How to Play it is that book is it's the wisdom.
Yeah, she's got a book called that incorporates all of her books. It's called The Wisdom of Florence Scovel Sheen. And the Game of Life is
It's
inside
part
of
of that.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like,
So the
it's
wisdom
perfect. It's
of
called the wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay. On the methodology side, what's another book? How about Slide Edge? Slide
Slide
Edge.
Edge. By Jeff Olson. Jeff Olson. Yeah. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so that's going to give you guys enough. So you kind of get the picture. You kind of get where you need to be and what you need to be doing as far as being that employer, so that you can stand there when that employer tells you, in particularly, you know, just got this really nice, our company did great. We did great. He goes out and buys himself a yacht. Okay? And you just heard that they're cutting bonuses. You know, or they're going through a layoff. They're, you know, reorganization. They call it right sizing now. Can you believe that? Right sizing. We're going to right size the company. Was 5,300 employees, now it's going to be 2,500. Right sizing.
Yeah.
No. So all of that we want to take away from you. We want you to understand that you can be that employer. But it's entirely up to you if you want to read those books and listen to those
Yep.
CDs.
I'm 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes on how to sell network marketing. Remember we talked about the other day that if you make the wrong approach, 90% of your organization that's with you this year will be gone next year. Because people don't know this, but everything starts with the approach. And we say little things like we try and dress our approaches up. Y'all know how we are. We slick, right? And we use the kind words. We change our voices. You know, you shouldn't really be on this problem, right? Try and make people feel guilty. So in this book, it talks about this. You do not use any sales techniques. You do not use any trickery, any convincing, none of that stuff. Whoa! How am I going to make a sale if I don't do that? How about having a heart-to-heart conversation? And here's the way it works. Oh, God, I wish we could go into this with you guys. We're doing it disservice, I think. But anyway.
You got 2 minutes.
All right. So here's the way it works. All right. In a conversation, guys, what you're going to do, you're going to qualify people and you're going to disqualify people. Right? Because they've taught us that we have the answer for everybody. And no, you don't, guys. When you leave out of here, you got to make up in your mind you don't have the answer. Because if you think you got the answer, you're going to be anxious all the time, living in fear, trying to convince people and all that stuff. And that's the reason why nobody wants to join network marketing. It's because they've had a bad experience. Somebody told them, give me a condition.
Diabetes.
Girl, you got diabetes? Girl, let me tell you, my sister had diabetes, started taking this stuff, and in 3 months it was gone. Yeah, do we do that?
Yeah.
Because we're excited, we want to help people. But human nature does not work like that, guys. That's the reason why you're being rejected. And then you pass this on, and we say, oh, you got to have tough skin. Or you got to go through enough numbers. You ever heard that? How many people? I've been in sales 42 years, and all I ever heard was you got to go through the numbers. That's BS. You got to throw enough blood up against the wall, tough skin, all that stuff. It doesn't work. Because this is an all-volunteer army. And once you sign somebody up, it's a continuous relationship. So you want to find out a couple of things in this qualification. Number one, do they have a problem? Number two, are they willing to do something about their problem? Number three, understand that you don't have the solution for everybody. Number four, some people, and here's the people we don't have the solution for, is the ones that are just dedicated and committed to the doctor, right? The doctor is the God, and if he don't say it, guys, you don't have the solution for that, all right? All right? The other ones are just victims. We don't have the solution for victims. Everybody got victims in their family, right? All right? Well, I got my diabetes, and that's the way it's been, and I get attention that way, and even if I don't get attention, it's something I can hold on to for my attention. Right? Make yourself, that's that part of that self-esteem, that self-image. Low, right? And then you're going to stay away from the outcome of this conversation that you're going to have. So when I talk to Amanda, if I put in my head that I'm going to get Amanda to sign on or convince her to do this, that's all wrong. Because they will feel your energy. You can say anything you want, be as nice as you want. But she will know that you're trying to sell her something. So here's the way we do it. It's a skill, and you're going to get this out of the book. It's a skilled conversation. So you're going to use the words, remember this, past, the word past, P-A-S-T, present, the word present, and remember the word future. So we're having a conversation, and real quick, how to sell network marketing. So you remember, okay, so she says she has diabetes. You can be at the barbershop, over the phone, whatever. Instead of jumping all over her and vomiting up, I got something that can help you. I work with Dr. Wallach, blah, blah. So I'm going to ask her about her past. So she says she has high blood pressure. What did we say?
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Well, Amanda, how long have you had it? And then you be quiet and you let Amanda talk. Guys, the secret to being a good sponsor or is being a great listener. Not a great talker. We've been taught, especially guys, to get the girls, right? Be a great talker. No, you got to be a great listener. So you got to learn. This is relearning. Listen. People buy you as part of the sale. Does that make sense? You heard that, right? And people love people that listen to them, right? So I'm going to ask Amanda, how are you doing her past? She says, Ray, I've had this stuff. How long have you had it? 5 years. The next question, and she'll go on for 10 minutes. Don't you break in and say, girl, I know that. Just listen. Well, my sister had it. Just listen. Just really listen. Second thing, I'm going to ask her, well, Amanda, I'm going to ask her about her present. What are you doing about it now? You on medication? She says, yes. She said, yeah. And I'll say, well, how is it treating you? How's it been? Well, Raymond, this stuff really makes me feel funny. And I know the doctor said I'll never be able to get off of it. And I don't want to do that. I said, oh, yeah. And then the third thing I ask her is about her future. And I'll say, well, what do you plan on doing about it in the future? If you don't like the stuff and you don't like the way it makes you feel, what do you plan on doing about it in the future? She said, I don't know, Ray. But I wish there was something that would help me. Something. And I'll look at Amanda and I'll say, are you serious? I'll pull out a Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD and a Z-Radical brochure, and I'll say, look, Amanda, if you are serious about changing, I'm going to loan you this CD. And the doctor can tell you more about it than I can. All right? And I'm going to get back with you in a day or two. Does that make sense, everybody? All right. Now, what if I ask Amanda, how long have you been, your past, I've had it 5 years. The second thing I asked about her present, she said, well, I'm on, this medication. I said, well, how's it treating you? Ray, I love this stuff. I got a $5 copay, right? I love my doctor. He's personal to me. Does she qualify then? No. Because why? She's already found her solution. We don't have the solution for everybody, so so she doesn't qualify. So we start talking about the weather, the kids, or whatever, right? Now I respected her. Maybe 6 months down the road, we see each other again. She remembers our conversation that I listened to her. Now the diabetes really kicked in. They talk about taking a toll. Now we can have that conversation over. So one last thing. Why do people don't like to follow up? Pick up the phone and call people? Because you made the wrong approach. And you're scared. Because you think you done try and talk them into it and try and convince them. And therefore, when you pick them, you be praying, oh God, I hope they agree with me. You're nervous and you're trembling. And that's the reason why. Everything starts. We're not doing it in service this right now. We could talk about the approach for 4 hours. But that's the way you want to do it. Get that book, all right? And we do trainings on this, so we'll give you guys our number. So when we do this, y'all can get it.
So why don't we just, on Monday evenings, we do our conference call. If you guys want to join into that, you can. That number is 712-432-0900. And the PIN code is 300747#. And that's Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Central. 712-432-0900. And the PIN is 300747#. So you're definitely welcome to join in, and we do conference calls for trainings too, and we'll announce those on our Monday night call when we are having those, and you're welcome to join in for that. But do listen to your support line, or as others may call it, your upline. This is the system that we use to be professionals in this business. So very quickly, we're going to go through the 8 steps. But before we do that, anybody got any questions?
That's Monday night, 7
7:30. 7:30 Central. 7:30 Central.
Okay. Guys, what we're trying to bring this puzzle together is, see that puzzle that you've been looking, that you have in your head now, what do I do, right? So first we said attitude, right? You got to get the book's attitude, right? On approaches, you got to get that. As a matter of fact, we made a CD for the company last year, 2 years ago, on approaches. So you might want to look into the archives. The company has that CD. It's called...
I think you have to go through Riverwalk Media.
Riverwalk Media, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
called... What's the name?
The Truth Will Set You Free.
The Truth Will Set You Free.
Only if you want it.
Yeah. It'll set you free, baby. I'm free as a bird.
Okay, so let's get back to the 8 steps. All right, so everybody is free as a bird. The power of 1. 8 steps. The first step that we tell folks that they need to do once they say that yes. We have a quick start training. We're not going through that with you today. But the quick start training is really to work with those that want to build a business. And we help individuals get, depending on what they want to do, EMD, 7 to 10 days, and then Senior Executive Marketing Director, in how many days?
30 days.
SEMD is 3 weeks.
30 days. Well, you go for 3 weeks, I know, because you be doing that whip like that. So, but it's
I
30
only wish.
days. 30 days. So power of 1. The first thing that we help people to do is what? Everybody does this.
Make a list.
Make a list.
The first thing that you do.
Now, guys,
Now, we will ask people, when they get started, we will say to them, okay, we want you to go in and we want you to look at the virtual trainings that we've done in the YGY Resource Center. You can go and look at the virtual training starting in March. The ones we did, and we talk about the approach on that one, and then the other ones that we've done. Then we want to work with you as far as your back office is concerned to help you to know where things are. Guys, just teach them where the resources are. Do not try to sit there and tell them how to do this back office. That's not what you want to do, because you'll get into that and you'll never get anything done. So it's just how to do your advanced genealogy, how to pull up your organization, all of that. That will come as they get through those levels. And that's what you give people. You feed them when they need it. If you try to give them all of this beforehand, you're going to confuse them. A confused mind
We'll never make a decision.
does not make a decision. It just stops. So that's what you want to do. Just give it to them as they need it. So make a list of names. At least how many?
100.
100. Now, why is 100 names, guys? Anybody know why that is? All right, the reason why, what if you got 5 names and the 5 don't join? What happens to you? You're out of business. If you 5 people, they don't join, guess what? You got 95 more. The question is, make as many names as you can. They say by the time we're 20, 25 years old, we know 2,000 people. We don't know them, hang around them, but we know them. So you start thinking about people you went to kindergarten with. Because the product that we use, can everybody use it?
Yes.
All right, so everybody is a potential business partner. We don't use the word prospect. Everybody is a potential business partner or a potential customer.
So you want to make sure that they, after they make that list of names, that they have business cards, that they have brochures, and we have the Z-Radical brochures, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie CDs. You want to make sure that they have the tools in order to build this business, and you talk to them about the books that they are also to read. So the second step is what? Follow-up. It's a 24 to 48-hour follow-up. Now, this first step, Raymond went through it with Amanda as far as the approach. You actually practice with your new potential business partner on that approach, and it's all in the steps. You can sit there with this information and go through the steps with the person. You don't have to be this expert. It's all right here. And when they see that you're reading it, guess what they think?
I can
I
read
can
it
do
too.
this. I can read it too. So the second step is 24 to 48-hour follow-up. And Raymond went through it with you as far as he said, people don't like to follow up. And why is it?
Didn't approach them
Because of
properly.
the approach, the lack of the approach.
The 24 to 48 hours, I know guys, a lot of people don't think that's important, but there is research out there that says that between 24, when you tell somebody something, even ladies about a shoe sale or whatever, or guys about a movie, within the first 24 to 48 hours, this is the way the mind works. We're excited about something. 24 hours, like a bell. You ever look at, like a bell curve. So first 24 hours, all right, they're excited. Up at the top of that bell curve is 48 hours. After that, their mind begins to go down into what we call the valley of skepticism, right? We live in a negative society. And that old negative uncle told them something crazy they don't know nothing about, right? So 24 to 48 hours, yes, that's it. It tracks all the way up. You're excited, and over here is in the land of skepticism, all right? So please, 24 to 40, it don't make that much difference. Okay. All right, you be right, I'll be rich.
Third step, you want to do what?
Three-way.
Calls. Or what?
Conference.
Conference calls.
Now, when you're doing a three-way call, very quickly, you introduce, you edify the person that's doing that three-way call, and what do you do then?
Be quiet.
Be quiet. Shut up sounds good to me.
Now,
You be quiet.
Now,
So
here-
that's what you do.
do you know what to say when, let's say Darryl, that you sponsored somebody and they want you to do a three-way with them, right? Everybody does three-ways?
Not enough.
You guys are bad, y'all. Not enough three-way?
No,
You awful, man.
I know.
A three-way? All right, here we go. Here's what a three-way works. So remember when I just went through the past, present, and future with her? So when you talking to somebody and you're the upline, all you got to do is ask Amanda. You go through. So tell me about your, what's going on with you. And they will start. talking about themselves, and you go through the past, the present, and the future. Does that make sense? You don't have to wonder what to say.
Right.
Because people don't want to do three ways because they don't know what to say. You go through the past, the present, and the future. I want to ask you one thing, guys. Who are people more interested in than anybody in the world? Themselves. You allow them with the approach. That's why the approach works, because they're talking about themselves. Same way with the three-way. Past, Mr. Smith, Amanda, tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. The book says, Amanda, before we get into our products or our company, let's focus on you and see what you're looking for, see what's going on with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Man, people love that. And they start talking about themselves and talk. Before you know it, they sign up. They like you. Yeah? Okay.
So three-way calls are really, really important, and Raymond makes a good point. So if you just write the word listen down right now, just write the word listen, L-I-S-T-E-N. And just remember this. Now if you jumble those letters up, what word do you get?
Silence.
Silent. You can tell folks that's been in training, oh no, listen to
The thing I love about the Majestic Eagles, every one of them can get up here and do what we do.
Absolutely. You'll be seeing them getting trained of the year really soon. Yeah.
They follow these steps. Our organization in Alaska and Florida can do the exact same thing because we do it all the time. That's not to brag, but that's just to say that's the way a system would work for you, right?
Yes.
So number 4, 2-on-1 presentation. This is when you and your sponsor or you or someone in your support line or your upline will go out and you will have a 2-on-1 presentation. Now again, listen to your upline. When we do a 2-on-1 presentation, we're going to make sure that we have the tools with us. We may not bring them out, but we have them with us. They've already listened to probably the Dead Doctors Don't Lie, probably the Z-Radical CD, talking about Z-Radical. And yes, we do talk to folks early on about Z-Radical. We let them taste Z-Radical because it's so simple. You're not having to mix it in water. You don't have to do anything. You just pour it from the bottle. So during a 2-on-1 presentation, you want to make sure you have your Z-Radical CD, Z-Radical CD, your Z-Radical brochure, your Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD, and you want to have a bottle cold of Z-Radical and your little sample cups.
A 1 ounce cup.
Yep.
So here's the way to do it. So Darryl and Mrs. Davis, so we come over to your house. You've heard that Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We've called you and said, well, look, we want more information. Say, okay, well, we're going to come over and let you sample the product. So what we actually will bring over is maybe a laptop or a CD player, and we will let you listen to, we have a CD called Z-Radical CD. Guys, check with your upline. This is what we do, right? And on that, it talks about where it's from, how it's made, blah, blah, blah. And we have some testimonials on it, right? And you listen to, for instance, if I know you got high blood pressure, I go to track 13 and I play high blood pressure. Lady said she had high blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. So, and then at the end, we don't do a whole lot of talking. We let them taste the Z-Radical. Guys, don't stay in there for 3 hours trying to convince somebody. You do it. If you go in there past an hour, you've been in there too long. Because a lot of people get in there and then they've already ready to go. And you're going to train them and talk about how great this company is. Don't do that. Get in there and get out of it. There'll be a time when you can do the training. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? All right, so presentation. We got it right here in our 8-step program. We call it our one-on-one presentation.
And we have each step what you need to cover during that. So again, you can sit there with a person, you can have the 2-on-1 presentation right next to you, and you'll know exactly what you need to cover. So number 5 is our quick start training. And that's, we provide action steps on what we need to do to get people at the different levels. We sit there and draw it out with them, very duplicatable. So that's the quick start training. That's only done with individuals that want to go out and build a business. But on that quick start training, we also have what you should do with customers, and then we also have the section what you do with your business partners. So again, very duplicatable. So number 6 is a happy, healthy hour. Now, most of you in the room may call them meetings. We don't. People don't like going to meetings. but they like going to happy, healthy hours.
Our group call them, what do we call them?
HHH.
Say it again.
HHH.
HHH.
Happy, healthy hours.
Happy, healthy. but within our group, somebody's having an HHH tonight, right? All right.
So, and we do that in 1 hour. And you hear people say healthy happy hour. The company says healthy happy hour because it goes along with the Healthy Body Start Pack. But it started out as a happy, healthy hour.
Let me show
And
you
that's
how.
what it's all about.
Let me show you what a happy, healthy hour consists of. Remember, what did we just say? Who are people more interested in? Themselves, right? So normally what happens in network marketing, you've got a person that gets up here and have a PowerPoint, right? Now, the problem with that is this. When the guy is up there doing a PowerPoint, who is the recognition of? I mean, who are they paying attention to?
Him.
Him. Where should the attention be?
On them.
On the audience, right? So when we have a happy, healthy hour, Yolanda, she's the expert in it. We have people in our living room or our family room, wherever you want to sit, and we just sit around in circles, right?
And we just have a conversation.
Yeah. Instead of doing this PowerPoint, man, there are guys in my organization that will do it because they ego tripping. They love the attention, but they stay the same place they are. They don't connect the dots.
And this is what happens at our Happy Healthy Hour. And there are folks in this room that will tell you this. People will walk out of our home and they will not know the company that they just joined.
Whoa.
But they do know that they're part of the Majestic Eagles team. And that we have fun, we have fun, we have fun, we have fun. You know, we make some money in the process too, but this isn't a job. This is about having fun, and we give a whole lot of love. And Dale can attest to this. You know, she just getting started. When you met the folks on your team, what was it all about? Just a whole lot.
Yeah.
But that's what's so important.
So
They walk out, they know the products, they know that then they start with the Z Radical CEO Family Mega Pack. That's the best CEO pack to start with. The Z Radical CEO Family Mega Pack, and that's what they get started with. That's it. They walk out of there and they're saying, I'm excited, I'm ready to go.
Okay, good. Let me give you an example on how it works real quick. All right, so we're sitting around, right? And Yolanda will say the same thing that comes out of the book. Guys, before we start talking about our company or our product, let's focus on who? You. You're out there, right? We love to talk about ourselves. So here's the way she has a method to it. So Daryl is one of the Majestic Eagles. He's been around a while. He's had high blood pressure, been on the product, and now he doesn't have it anymore. So she'll call on Daryl to help break the ice. Because Daryl is a veteran. Daryl said, well, blah, blah, blah. Then she'll call on Amanda. Amanda said, you know, I had diabetes and now I don't have it. She talks and gives.
But we don't make any medical claims.
Yeah,
we don't tell you our product does not diagnose or treat any disease. We make no medical claims.
And then she might call on Adam, right? So we break the ice. And so the guests that you've invited, it kind of makes them feel comfortable, right? Because if you call on a guest first, they're kind of out of, so what am I supposed to say? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of them say, well, I just came because Daryl invited me. Right? So it breaks the ice, and then you call on somebody and Jamie. Yeah, we call on Jamie. And Jamie is comfortable now, right? Because these people have been talking about themselves. Now I have permission. I can talk about myself.
And then we have people that just say, I want to share.
Yeah.
That just came in, that's brand new.
Right.
Because they're comfortable now and they feel like they're a part of and they belong.
Well, one of the things we say real quickly is that, look guys, we're not here to convince you or talk you into anything. Because if we do, we know you're going to quit. So if you're going to join for your reasons, not ours. Because that's the way it should be. When you're having these conversations, they should join. If they join for any other reason other than theirs, guys, it's just a matter of time. They're gone. You can walk out like you sign somebody up with all your chest stuck out. It's a matter, you know you're talking into.
And hence, that's why the retention rate is very high.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Y'all know we have the highest retention rate. Now, I don't brag, but I gotta say this. The Majestic Eagles have the highest retention rate in the whole company. Yeah. Give it up. everything we're seeing today. So guys, when you leave here today, you don't have to worry about what do I do. We have the 8 steps up there, and we'll have them online so you guys can get them. And we don't mind helping everybody. From time to time, we will have trainings. You guys can get on, get your teams on, and we just go from there, right? And sometimes we Skype, you can Skype in and stuff. So now guys,
So
look.
number 7, because we got the other this time to get started on the other one. So number 7, whereas we build this from your happy, healthy hours, you're doing your 2-on-1s, your 3-way, you're doing your 2-on-1s, your 3-way calls, all during the week. Thursday evening, you bring them to the happy, healthy hour. Then as their eye is beginning to see bigger and better. So now we take them to a larger happy, healthy hour, an international training or meeting that we're having, and then also the training. So those are your 8 steps.
Guys.
If you follow those, you will be successful in this.
Yeah, and let me just say, that excitement and stuff, all that, go jump off the top of the building, that stuff don't last long. I used to be one of them. You gotta have knowledge, you gotta know what you're doing. That's why people will join you, because you know what you're doing. Now you have a system. Don't you feel better? You're confident now. You know exactly what to do, and you can teach your group this.
Okay,
Right?
you gotta let the other folks know you're excited.